Welcome to Payday Parlays podcast, episode 3. I'm one of your co-hosts, coming to you from the beautiful Outer Banks, and this is my co-host.
I'm Zane, coming to you live from Bristol, Virginia.
Live, I love it.
Definitely not live. We're editing all of this.
So we had a great weekend this past weekend, Zane. How about you?
Dude, it was a good weekend. The weekend before, out of town, no sports, no cell service. Nice to disconnect, but man, it was good to be back, locked in. Ice cold drinks on tap at the house and fridge full, just locked into the games all weekend long.
That's awesome. I think me and you switched this past weekend. However, it was nice to have a weekend in Virginia where I could bet all weekend long.
Yeah, that's a plus being up there. What do you have going on this weekend?
We had a soccer tournament up in Richmond. So I coach a U12 team, and we competed up in Richmond in the Ultimate Cup.
The Ultimate Cup, I like it. Did you come home with the Ultimate Cup?
We did not, but that's okay. We're just getting better.
We're all just having fun.
That's all that matters. So did you catch any college basketball this weekend?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Quite a bit. And, of course, the big game of the weekend, in my opinion, is probably Ohio State, Michigan. Battle of the top two powerhouses there in the Big Ten. Both teams are sharp and are in good play right now. Michigan's defense, I thought, was going to take over. So, like, my play on the game, just picks-wise, I thought Michigan would edge out Ohio State. I was torn between it, but I did go with Michigan. But I thought the under would take, and that ended up being a scoring fest. Both teams shot lights out, so not even close on the under.
Yeah, Juwan Howard has Michigan humming. They're a really good team. As much as I hate to say that, because I am not a Michigan supporter.
Yeah, but you got a lot of family there.
Yeah, so it's just a fun back and forth. But yeah, Michigan, they're really good this year.
Other than that, though, the picks for this weekend for me were absolutely atrocious, terrible. In the last two months or so now, that was definitely single-handedly the worst weekend I've had on picks for the weekend. It was bad.
I didn't have a bad weekend, but it could have been better. It could have been better. I had a couple maybe bad beats. So in the Miami Heat versus Lakers game on Saturday night, I was one Jimmy Butler assist away from hitting a nice little same game parlay, $10 to win $150. Nice.
And that's a little bit of a bad beat.
Just a little bit. One assist away. Come on, Jimmy. He had a 3-game triple-double streak going into that. So I was like 6 assists to be close. He doesn't have to get the triple-double, but
Yeah, I mean, across the board for me, I can just read out some of my L's I took for the weekend. Where do we start? Soccer parlay, Liverpool versus Everton, and Dortmund versus Schalke. Took the money line Liverpool, money line Dortmund, and our little sleeper top 4 picks came into play this past weekend. I picked against the prediction last week, thinking Everton would go on a little run. Liverpool would hold top 4, and Everton pulls the upset in that rivalry.
Yeah, and
that hurt me.
I told everyone actually that Liverpool is not making the top 4. They're not good this year.
Yeah. Yeah, continue to beat that down because I mean, your predictions were spot on though. I mean, you threw out West Ham, right?
I did say West Ham was a sleeper pick to finish in the top 4 at the end of the season. And I think that they're sitting pretty good right now. They still got some tough games. They play Man City this week.
And I mean, like you picked West Ham as your kind of value for finish top 4. I picked Everton. They both end up big wins this weekend, so a little bit of credibility there.
Not to rain on your parade, though. I do want to mention, though, that you also picked Liverpool as your for sure in the top 4, and I picked Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. I definitely picked them as for sure. Yeah. But we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. I feel pretty good.
Chelsea didn't look great either.
They did not look great. I think that's because there's a certain American that needs to be playing.
I think that's what we all believe.
Yeah.
Maybe some Champions League appearance this week for them against Atletico Madrid.
Maybe coming off the bench.
Yeah. Supporting role.
Yeah. I don't think that he'll start after missing the game with an apparent injury this last weekend, but we'll see. I won, speaking of this weekend and stuff we won, going back over our losses, just because it's the first one on here on my settled list. I did win $10 on the New Orleans Pelicans on the money line.
That's a nice pick.
Yeah, I can tell you why I picked it. My breakdown is that Kemba Walker has been struggling, and he continued struggling Sunday night, and it did go into overtime. I think Pelicans, they're not the sneaky Panthers or anything, so they're not that sneaky, but they're a solid team. Can't. And now Boston's at 500.
And not just Kemba Walker struggling. I think he shot like 1 for 12 from the 3-point line. I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like 1 for 12 around that figure.
I think you're exactly right. I think it was 1 for 12, and that's hilarious.
You said you were away in a tournament. Did you happen to get your eyes on that game? Because at one point, the Pelicans were down over 20 points.
So I was driving during the game, and I have Apple CarPlay, and Todd asked Siri so often what the score was. So I went from extremely frustrated, like, come on, I didn't even win anything this weekend, to
randomly checking the score.
Yeah, to feeling a little bit better. It's an emotional roller coaster. You have to be there.
This game can be sometimes, absolutely. Other losses for me included Cincinnati to cover at Houston at plus 13 point spread. Houston blew them out. Rutgers to cover against Maryland, 4.5. Rutgers lost to Maryland. It just wasn't good at all. I had Denny, so NASCAR little plug here for you, road course racing. I got a little late start. I forgot to put in a bet, so I picked it up right as the race was starting, and the odds dropped heavy on Denny Hamlin to plus 2,000 to win the race. Really liked that value pick. I really thought he was going to have a strong showing. He did have an okay showing, faded down the stretch, finished third instead of first. But that was a $5 wager that would have paid out $100, and he finished third.
Yeah, that's tough.
So, no, it was not a good weekend for me.
And then I talked about my Jimmy Butler being 1 assist. I'll tell you what I got right in the parlay to get some going. So I had Duncan Robinson to score 10-plus points. I think he had 11. I'm pretty sure he finished with 11. Jimmy Butler to score 20-plus points.
Right.
Bam Adebayo to get 4-plus assists. That's almost a given every night. Tyler Hero to get 4-plus rebounds, which that one was tough because he got injured in the first half. So he had to get those 4 rebounds before he got injured, but he got them pretty early. And then Bam Adebayo to get 8-plus rebounds. I hit all those. And then Jimmy Butler had 5 assists. I needed 6.
Jeez.
So that was fun. Oh.
Yeah, that's tough.
And do you want to hear my other bad beat from the same game? So I did another same game parlay trying to, not really hedge a little bit, but trying to make as much money as I can off the same game parlays. I had Duncan Robinson to score 10 points, Bam Adebayo to score 15, Jimmy Butler to score 20, Bam to have 4 assists, Tyler for 4 rebounds, Bam with 6 rebounds, and then Duncan Robinson the first basket. That one's the toughest one, though, that first basket.
Tonight and currently ongoing, Miami Heat versus Oklahoma City Thunder. Have a little Miami Heat same game parlay going on. Just Miami Heat money line against the Thunder, and Bam to score 25 plus points tonight. Reasoning, because I saw a little article, so I thought I'd push it to the edge a little bit. But the basis of it is that some statistics that were dropped. The Thunder without Horford, when they're playing without Horford, the opposing center they face that receives the most minutes for each team score more than his average. So the average point increase for those centers when Horford's not playing is about 37%. Bam averages about 19 points a game. So 19, 37%. It's like, we might as well push it up to 25 and take our chances on it. So we'll see how that plays out. I haven't checked to see where he's sitting at right now. I think it's still early.
Yeah, it is early. They tipped off at like 9. So as a Heat fan, I wish you luck. I don't know. Sometimes Bam can be a little passive. He likes to get those triple doubles of 10, 10, 10.
Right.
But he is a good scoring threat, and he has a really wet jumper that he needs to start being more aggressive with and start taking more jumpers. But looking out into the week, Zane, let's get started talking about this week. What do you got looking forward to this week? Since we talked about this weekend, our losses, let's just go ahead and move forward with that.
Well, we have a real treat for everyone this week coming up. I don't even know where to start. Let's just start with the name, I guess. Featuring this week, a matchup for the ages. A matchup that you're probably going to get like every other week or at least once a month, something. We'll figure out some sort of rhythm here for it. But this week, featuring the Payday Parlays Mega Pick Face-Off Championship Series Super Cup is kicking off. Kicking off starting tomorrow. Scoring starts tomorrow for your first bets. And
yeah,
Matt, if you want to fill people in as to what we're doing here.
Yeah, so how it's going to work is we're going to each week starting on – so we're recording on Mondays. So starting Tuesday to Sunday evening, and if there's a little Monday action, we're going to talk about it. We have to make sure that the games are ending before our podcast starts so we can calculate all the winnings. And we're going to have a cap of $100 because what our slogan is here on Payday Parlays. It's hashtag betting on a budget. So we make sure that we're not going too crazy. You got out of $100, and whoever gets the winnings each week is the winner. And we're going to have a guest picker each week. Our first guest picker this week is going to be a surprise for you guys because we might be having a new segment every week with someone else, and we'll let that be a surprise for when that happens.
Potentially crowned and deemed as Master of the Mid-Majors from what we've heard.
Exactly.
Master of the Mid-Majors for some college basketball. So stay tuned for more on that.
Knowledge.
Potentially, this guest picker who we highlight could put us to shame on these picks.
That is very true.
We're honored to have him eventually, though. Eventually, he'll be here in person.
We're going to try to get guest pickers as frequently as possible so we can get in different people. And we're going to make it fun. So we have a guest picker who played football. We're going to try to get him to give us his basketball picks. We're going to make it fun.
It's going to be good.
So, Zane, do you want to start out with do you have your first option that you're going to be? This is to kick it off. And where can they find to keep up with as we keep adding bets? Where can they look to find as we keep adding more on there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to keep it all updated through our website primarily at paydayparlays.com. Check us out. Subscribe to our articles and posts so you don't miss out on the updates to this Super Cup competition. And I'm sure you'll see some highlights on social media as well at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Payday Parlays throughout the week.
Yeah, and make sure you also subscribe on YouTube as well so that, you can check out all the clips of our podcast as well. We're going to also be clipping up our picks for the week on our Super Cup so that you guys will be able to see where we're at for the week and how it's going. We'll keep a live score tracker on the website. So visit paydayparlays.com.
So to kick it off, though, we'll go ahead and throw out our first plays for tomorrow night. Kicking this Payday Parlay Mega Pick Face-Off Championship Series Super Cup off. I'm taking the Fighting Illini versus Michigan State. I believe it's at Michigan State. Illini -7. Taking them to cover. They're going to cover that -7. Michigan State is terrible. I know they had a decent comeback win over the weekend. To the Roots, though, they're just one of the worst Michigan State's teams you're going to see probably in a very long time to this point. And I'd say probably one of the worst seasons they'll have through the future years to come for a very long time too. They're just not good.
Are you declaring them dead?
For this year? Yeah, they're dead.
Well,
and the Fighting Illini are going to make sure to finish it tomorrow. So $10 down to cover. Winnings out of that, 943. So 10 to win, 943 after it's all over.
All right, I'm going to come in with 2 picks to start out with. And I have the Washington Wizards +10 versus the Clippers. And here's a little stat for you. The Clippers in clutch situations, which is defined by 5 minutes or less in a ball game and a game that is 5 points or less, the Clippers have the worst net rating out of every single team in the NBA. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. So I had the Washington Wizards +10, $13 to win, $11.82.
Okay. Sort of play. I'm still thinking about it as to what kind of soccer football play I want to make tomorrow for Champions League. Definitely going to play around with those tomorrow, though. I'll throw something out.
Yeah, Champions League is probably one of the best sports to bet just because it's the biggest sporting event in the world.
It's dramatic.
It is. You never know what's going to happen, like Juventus and Porto.
Yeah, how'd that one go? Recap from last week, right?
I was pretty confident about that one, too. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. It's the beautiful game.
Does Porto pull off that upset? I know we're a few weeks away from that matchup, but does Porto end up finishing the job in leg 2 there?
I don't believe so because of the Cristiano Ronaldo factor. Do you remember when Wolfsburg had that lead against Real Madrid?
Yeah.
It was a 2-goal lead heading into Germany.
But here's the thing. It was a 2-goal lead for Porto, and Juventus there
scored at the end.
Finished key away goal. That may be a key moment for the entire advancement there if Juventus ends up advancing.
Yeah, they just have
key away goal.
0.
Exactly. If they can just hold them scoreless and put 1 goal on them at home, it's easier said than done, I'm sure. But that key away goal there at the end there, that people would look at garbage time, essentially, but it wasn't. It was very important for new soccer fans to understand how these legs work, like we talked about last week. That key away goal by Ronaldo is something you're going to want to see how it affects the next leg in that matchup.
However, if you're going to live bet this for our audience to also know, if Porto looks very not very aggressive going forward to trying to score goals early on. That's because they're just trying to hold their lead. But if you see Juventus score in the first half, look for Porto then to flip the switch and to be aggressive. Like if you're live betting at halftime, if it's Juve 1-0.
And it could turn into a track meet at that point.
Exactly, because they have to score. And that's where we were talking about looking at it as a whole. 4 quarters, 2 games is your halves.
Yep.
Anything else you're looking forward to this week, Zane, besides the Champions League? And our
dude, I've been to be honest, I've been really enjoying watching hockey still, man. I actually just hit a little two game parlay tonight on some hockey. It came down to the wire with the New York Islanders and Buffalo Sabres. I had Islanders money line in a parlay with our seems to be a fan favorite, the sneaky Florida Panthers. Sneaky Florida Panthers were down by a goal early to the Dallas Stars tonight. Come back and win. So hit that one. Put 10 on it and walked away with $18.36 in winnings there to add to the 10. So total of $28.36 back. Yeah, so other than hockey this week, which I'll keep probably picking, 1 or 2 games a night on hockey to watch. I like picking games I can watch and also keep my eye on the NBA games this week. There's some key matchups this week. Got a couple of those.
Yeah, Lakers Jazz Wednesday night. That's a big matchup. Probably the best team in the NBA versus last year's best team. So this is going to be an interesting matchup, to say the least.
Obviously, we're 2 nights away from that happening, but early thoughts on that one, I'd have to say, without Anthony Davis still in the lineup, I mean, Lakers they're struggling. So I don't see how they'll take the Jazz at home too, home for the Jazz as well.
Yeah, and it's tough going into Utah. It's a little bit higher elevated stadium, but it should be an interesting matchup because LeBron James he's not going to want to be going in 1-2 in his last 3 games or 0-3. So he's going to be, depending on how they end up tonight, he's going to want to make sure that they're getting on the right track because
try to right the ship a little bit.
Yeah, because seeding is going to matter more this year, I think, for the Lakers than it did. Obviously, last year, being in a bubble, the seeding really didn't matter. But this year, specifically, they're going to really want, with the Jazz playing the way they are, the Clippers are playing much better. They're going to want to be the highest seed that they possibly can be. So this should be a really good game Wednesday night. How are you feeling about it so far?
I mean, would you say potential Western Conference
Finals?
Yeah. Western Conference Finals. I mean, would you say this could be the matchup?
I'm not necessarily sure because I really do like the Clippers. I think they do have a deep team. We saw where that depth got them last year. Didn't really help much. But I do think that they still they have more talent than the Jazz. I think that they just have better players.
Right.
Rudy Gobert's good, and Donovan Mitchell's amazing, but Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, Pat Beverly's good on defense. I think he's slightly overrated as an all-around player. I don't think his defense is that elite, but that's neither here nor there.
With that being said, Utah are still on a nice streak against the spread, so keep riding that money wave, and I'm probably going to hit them against the Lakers. That may come into play with the Payday Parlay Mega Pick Face-Off Championship Series Super Cup pick. That the Utah Lakers, that may be the play. That may be another play this week for that challenge.
Yeah, I'm leaning Lakers, to be honest. But other matchups looking out this week, Bucks and Pelicans Thursday night. That's also interesting. Pelicans coming off that win against the Celtics.
Big win against the Celtics, which we briefly talked about earlier. Pelicans are so just kind of up and down, though. And that's why they're sitting around 500. I mean, actually way under 500, 4 games under 500. So.
Yeah, they're not necessarily a good team. I just think the talent's there. I think the continuity and just they're definitely probably going to be sellers at the trade deadline. So I might do an article on that you can check on at paydayparlays.com and on sellers and buyers, because I do think that they'll probably be sellers. They're probably going to try to get rid of maybe Alonzo Ball. They just have so many C to B players all in the same positions that they need to try to.
It's like they need to kind of streamline the roster a little bit more, focus in a little bit more. I think you're right.
Sometimes it's addition by subtraction.
Exactly. Well, that would be something to watch for the trade deadline. But I mean, Bucks, Pelicans. You got to think Bucks, but Pelicans, just like they did against Boston, I mean, can explode on any night.
Do you have the spread right in front of you?
I think it's a little. Yeah, it's too early. They won't have that out for another few days. It doesn't look like. So, yeah. I would anticipate, though, based on if I had to guess a spread, just guessing maybe what Vegas will do, I'd put probably Bucks favored by 7.5.
See, at that point, I would take
7.5, 8.5
in the points. I do think it's going to be a good matchup, and it should be a good game all around, and it should probably be close. I believe.
We'll have to revisit that guess when the spread comes out.
Yeah, we definitely will. And that might also come into play in our
Payday Parlay Mega Pick Face-Off Championship Series Super Cup.
I'm excited. And we still need help picking out what to happen to the loser.
Yeah, give us some feedback. Winner reward or loser punishment.
Winner, we're gonna just give a crown or something, like a sash or something. Like winner, loser has to do something embarrassing.
We'll get there.
Too embarrassing. We're a family-friendly show.
Matt, I will say we have covered the basis once again, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my parlay in before we head out, though.
That's what I was gonna say. Is you want to wrap it up with a No Way Parlay finale?
Yes. So this is a 5-team parlay, my friends, and this is for $10 plus 9,434 odds. So that means parlay is a low risk, high reward parlay. The chances of it actually hitting are very slim. That's why it's called a no way parlay. However, if it hits, you're going to be so excited. It's like the best thing that could possibly happen to you. I mean, to bet $10 and win almost 1,000, that there's nothing better than that. So let's just, while we're talking about, let's go ahead and get it. It is a 5-team parlay. So the first one, Atletico Madrid and Chelsea to draw. I told you guys earlier why I think that it's going to be a draw. Man City versus Mönchengladbach. Borussia Mönchengladbach. Man City should win. They're in amazing form right now. We've talked about them for weeks now. PSG Barcelona to draw. We talked about this also on the last episode. Barcelona is going to be pressing, but PSG is going to be sitting back. They are going to be playing for a draw. They are up. They do not need to score a bunch of goals to win. They just need to not get scored on. Dortmund versus Sevilla. I also have as a draw. And then Lazio versus Bayern Munich.
I like that one.
Bayern Munich on the money line.
They're on fire. There's nothing needed. No other words needed there. I know they're coming off a Bundesliga, I think, loss over the weekend, but still doesn't deter me from a money line pick for them in Champions League. But guys, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. For those of you who have joined the page, joined the following, we've had some great interaction over the weekend, throughout the week, with some fans of the channel and some followers. good friends of ours as well with some winnings and posts. So keep the interaction up, keep it going, share your picks, share your own No Way parlays. And we hope to listen here for you guys this week and see you guys next week, and follow the Payday Parlay Mega Pick Face-Off Championship Series Super Cup as the standings take place this week.
Yes, and also make sure you're looking out for our guest picker this week. It's going to be fun. The master of the mid-major. So be looking out.